Dustin the Diamond Poirier is a prolific lightweight contender that brings passion and heat to every fight. Since his move up from featherweight, Poirier has given us war after war, showcasing both his undeniable heart and skill set, coming out on top in almost every bout. Between his repeated Fight of the Year contenders, humble personality, and charity work with his very own Good Fight Foundation, it's impossible not to be a fan. In this video, we will break down the stats and the science behind Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier stands at 5'9" with a reach of 72 inches, which is roughly on par with the divisional average. Let's start by taking a look at his striking. Dustin has the second most knockouts in lightweight history and has the third highest strike output at 6.45 landed per minute. It's safe to say Poirier likes to fight with pressure, constantly walking down his opponents and staying up in their faces. He has excellent dirty boxing that has really come to light in recent years, along with his slick head movement. Poirier stands in a southpaw stance and likes to use the left body kick, which is often open for southpaw fighters. His best punch is by far his hook, especially his left hook. And he doesn't just throw one. Dustin likes to throw high volume, alternating left and right hooks when he knows his opponent is covering up. He does an excellent job at slipping his opponent's telegraph shots before getting right back to pummeling. After all, he knocked out Justin Gaethje with what was essentially a 25-hook combo with an uppercut thrown in for good measure. And yes, we counted. Poirier's constant pressure often causes his opponents to shell up with their high guard, which is when he likes to sneak a rear uppercut through the guard to mix it up. Poirier isn't just all hooks and uppercuts though. He's a creative striker and improvises in the moment. A great example are these hammer fists against Hooker, or when he wrapped up Alvarez's head in the clinch for some standing knees. He has a significant strikes landed per minute of 5.57 and a striking accuracy of 50%, as well as a significant strikes absorbed per minute of 4.18 and a striking defense of 54%. Poirier isn't just all volume. Since his move up from featherweight, he has developed significant power and it shows. Along with volume, pressure, and power, Poirier also brings excellent cardio to the cage. His fights against Holloway, Gaethje, and Hooker show that he can keep up his pace and pressure for the distance. Moving on from striking, let's take a quick look at Poirier's clinch work. When you fight with pressure, it's expected that you end up against the cage pretty often. More often than not, the clinch is a point of advantage for Poirier. He will mix it up, throwing in takedown attempts with strikes to stay unpredictable. His usual takedown from the clinch is the double leg. If that fails, Poirier gets creative and will find ways to punish his opponents. In his knockout victory against Diego Brandao, Poirier had him hurt up against the fence and took a break from the punches to take him down with the double leg, just to let him get back up and drop him again. Here's another example from the Hooker fight, where Hooker defended the double leg, so Poirier tied him up and pinned him up against the cage, leaving one hand free for uppercuts. Lastly, let's talk about Dustin's ground game. Poirier is a BJJ black belt and it shows. He has a well-rounded record with 7 of his wins coming by submission, although it should be noted he hasn't had a submission finish since 2012, aside from Anthony Pettis, which was more so due to injury. These days, Poirier prefers to stay on the feet and use his grappling defensively, although like we mentioned earlier, Poirier will mix in takedown attempts with his striking. He likely does this not because he wants to grapple, but because he wants his opponents worried about being taken down. Because of this, Dustin is more opportunistic with his takedowns and goes for them if they present themselves, but doesn't actively chase them as his primary objective. He has a takedown average of 1.46 and a takedown accuracy of 35%, with a takedown defense of 60% and a submission average of 1.3. It's hard to say whether Dustin has a favorite submission, but if you had to choose, the guillotine would seem like the obvious choice. After all, he likes to jump guard with the guillotine in many of his fights, and Khabib Nurmagomedov even went on record stating that Dustin almost got him with his attempt. At the time of this video, he doesn't have a guillotine finish on his record, but it wouldn't be surprising if we saw one in the near future. His creativity extends into his ground game as well. He is the only fighter to have ever finished Max Holloway, and by nothing less than an armbar to triangle to mounted triangle to armbar. Poirier is an extremely talented and well-rounded fighter, expertly utilizing every part of the MMA game, but his abilities as a fighter goes beyond that. In his wars against the likes of Holloway, Hooker, and Gaethje, Poirier showed his true grit and heart. In these fights, where 2 world-class fighters were pit against each other in absolute wars, it seemed to come down to who wanted it more, and the answer was always Dustin Poirier. At the time of this video, he is scheduled to headline UFC 257 against Conor McGregor in a hugely anticipated rematch. We look forward to seeing the rest of his career unfold, and hopefully holding a belt someday. Before we wrap up this video, we just wanted to announce our new MMA Discord community. It is a server dedicated to MMA where fans of the sport can discuss the sport, share memes, news, and much more. If you're interested in joining, the link is in the description below. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for future content.